right. Hopefully we're live. I didn't do my little countdown. Happy Thursday, everybody. Glad to be back. Ashley Duwel, your host, and my co-host, Natasha Velez.
At Envious Strategic Solutions.
Hold on. I got something for that.
Oh, get it?
We're super excited about the topic today. I get these questions. I shouldn't say this question because this subject is action-packed full of questions.
Yes.
Conferences in general, they're expensive. We're small. Which ones do you go to? How do you know what to do when you get there? And how do you make sure you kind of get the biggest bang for your buck, right?
Yeah.
Go to a conference and sit in the corner and talk to nobody doesn't really do you any good. Would you agree?
I would agree. I would say that the ones that I like to go to are normally ones that my clients at. So if I have an agency that I'm targeting, I'm pretty big on the whole trying to see where they're located, what events they normally attend, and then I try to be there with my capabilities, man, and added value. Of course, I want to see what kind of bids they're working on and forecasted, but I usually do a targeted approach. So
let's say hypothetically, I mean, that is the best practice, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you have a conference in the budget, you want to work with DOD, DHS, HHS, right? Mm-hmm. You don't really know much else. So how do you know where they're going to be? Well, I got to say, this is one place that your small business person can come in. They know what the conference calendar looks like. They know where their offices and their personnel are going to be. So just ask if it's not on their events calendar, of course.
I use the targeted. I'm
What's
horrible.
That?
I'm horrible about that. I use your events calendar.
Well, speaking of our events calendar,
if I don't know what's out there, I'm like, what did Ashley put in?
We host this. I have someone that helps me find these events. Like, there are certain ones that are on our radar every year, and we'll go over, what sort of the top priority ones are. But just so you guys know, if you're not sure where to find events or don't have time to search, we do have this events page, GovConHacks.com/events. And
it's really
thank you. You can click. This used to be a Monday board. Can you believe I actually moved something off of Monday? Yeah. But this works because you can just add it right to your calendar. So I thought that was so much more convenient for the audience. That way,
I like if you're interested in it, where it's located, the website, there's the link. You make it super, super simple. And then you can add it to your calendar. Get out of here.
Yeah. And it works with Google and Outlook. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. I'm trying to add something to my calendar and it's only giving me the Outlook option. That drives me nuts. Yeah. It's like, well,
I've had that like a million times. But yeah.
Right.
I really like that.
You'll see these, and we try to keep as updated as possible. So that's why we're going to make sure to cover sort of the high profile events you want to attend. Mm-hmm. Somewhere else, like where we go to look for these events, we go to the agency's event pages at their OSDBU level, at the agency website themselves. We go to Eventbrite. You'd be surprised how many agencies are active on Eventbrite.
Yep.
Some of them, because we're targeting, for example, HHS, we know that HHS once a month holds a happy hour, right? So that's not necessarily something that we have to do much planning for. It's a virtual happy hour, right? But these big conferences, like, let me get rid of this. I'm still learning how to work this thing. All right. So these big conferences, the ones that are going to cost you more than $2,000 a person to attend, with airfare, hotel, tickets. Let's kind of hash those out so that they're on your radar and you kind of have an idea of which ones apply to you. What's the first one that comes to your mind? I got my first one.
Me?
Yeah. What's one?
That
little well, they have a much bigger one. So what that is, hang on, I have that listed here.
Everyone's industry is different. Let's
Every industry
also
is
remember
different.
that. There are a million conferences, but you will not catch me at a healthcare one. That's Aya. That'll be Tammy if she's watching. That's not me. I'll be at ITSEC because I like engineering services. I like IT. I like technology. I like innovation. So ITSEC is like a hub and it's huge for that. And the best of the best all come to showcase their products, their new innovations, and that's my big thing. That's what I'm planning for right now. So every industry has their main conference that they go to where their networking partners are at, and it's not just your agency that you want to target, it's also partnerships. There's other people
Partnerships.
out there that you
Mhm.
can team with. And then sometimes I go and I walk around and look at the booths and I check out the capability statements and I'm like, you have a gap in service that I don't have. You fill that gap. Let's talk. We'll
Mhm.
we'll exchange cards and information, and then like within 12 to 24 hours, let's be real, 24 hours, I'm contacting them back and saying it was great meeting you, right? Follow up, super important.
Next step, yes, be on top of your follow-up game. If you're gonna spend all this time and money to go to a conference and you just collect business cards and go home, like,
Yeah.
you didn't really do the whole job, right? You've got one job, and it's to close the deal, essentially. So have a strong follow-up game after the conference. Otherwise, all of that would have been a waste of time. You mentioned engineering. So another one on my radar is the Society of American Military Engineers Federal Small Business Conference. This
Yep.
one's usually in the fall. I
Mhm.
want to say October, November.
Mhm.
I know last year, I believe it was in Texas. And this is basically anybody in architecture, engineering, construction, environmental consulting, and,
Risk
related
management,
industries.
all that stuff. Yep.
Yeah, whether you're veteran, minority, women owned, it doesn't matter. That's sort of an industry specific conference, including, technology tools that cater to that industry, right? So if you have a software for construction management, there's going to be a lot of construction companies, or architecture engineering rather, that will be in attendance there that you could potentially sell your software to.
I
The
also
other
want
one, go ahead.
those. Yep. Another one is land pack. That's a huge one that I really like. That one maybe because it's in Hawaii. But it's a professional development forum. It's for AUSA, so that's the Army.
Mhm.
And so it's the Association of the United States Army. And so if you are trying to target the Army, I have a membership, and this is just another component to meetings and events and things like that, is through your memberships. It's not just, conferences that you see out there, right? Sometimes you want to set yourself up with a really good membership with a targeted agency. So I know that if I'm targeting the DoD and my agency of choice or, my focus is on the Army, I'm automatically setting up a membership with AUSA. And with that membership comes a lot of benefits. And I get to be part of their meetings. I get to be strategic and be part of their membership. I also get notified when they have conferences, panels, things that of interest that keep me completely aware of what's going on. So I'm not so, kind of stepped out of the industry. I'm completely involved and informed constantly. Um, and they have those organizations and associations have their own meetings and conferences. AUSA usually has about 2 to 3 conferences a year that are pretty big. And then they usually have their yearly dance and dinner, their anniversary dance and dinner, which is always spectacular. But yes, they have a couple where you can go there and you can meet with the Army and the officials there, the sergeants, lieutenants. You're there with the project managers and program managers and the clients. So it's a
Talk
really
about
good,
knowing the customer.
yeah, it's right. You're right there having a drink with the customer, literally, and
And
having a date.
guys, I gotta say, it's kind of a under the breath joke, but when they start drinking, they start talking. Just
Yes.
saying.
And that's when you get your best information. Most people make fun of me, but I don't
You
care.
You want to know
These,
how, what really keeps them up at night
yeah,
about that
I hang
contract?
out at the bar. I'm at the bar with the CEO
I mean,
and
I guess
learning
it's all
their
of us
pain
really at the
point.
end of the day, but just drives home another point. They're
Yeah.
human too, right?
Mhm.
One that
Absolutely.
comes to top of mind that I definitely, it was kind of mind blowing for me, um, was the National 8A Small Business Conference. And a lot of
Mhm.
folks think because the National 8A Association puts it on that it's only for 8As.
Yes.
And I'm here to disagree. I mean,
It's
the magic that was happening at that conference. I didn't go this year, but that one usually comes around February. So first,
yes.
second week of
Anyone
February.
who's anyone is there.
Yeah.
Even if you're not
And
in
it
A, which is
sells
great.
out fast. Like when it's posted in January, I tried
Yeah.
to buy my ticket on like January 28th and no bueno. There were no more tickets. 1,800 businesses that
And
year.
try to get a booth. That's not happening. You have to plan that a year in advance.
Yeah, the
You have
80,
to
that's a
book
big one. That's a
so
big
like
one.
you're at the conference. If you want to book next year's booth, you have to book it at the conference that you're at now for next year. That's how
Yeah,
pre-booked are.
it's definitely a big one. If you're in the IT space, if you're
Mhm.
8A, if you're looking for a mentor or a protege, I mean, I watched
Like
teaming relationships build at the table I was sitting at, and I'm just sitting here, I'm eating my dinner,
everyone's just
just
signing.
watching it form. Eventually they took it off to
Good.
whatever meeting space to sign deals, but
Mhm.
just having a casual conversation with someone, what do you do across the
Mhm.
dinner table, can be super powerful. And people buy from people they like. So send your best people with their charming personalities.
Yes. And I
Your
want to
business
push also
developers.
on that, not just that person, but yourself too. I truly believe like, okay, I've seen a million conferences and let's be real, no one cares about your business as much as you do. So the smaller you are, obviously the less people you got to send, right? You want to be very strategic with your money because it's very easy to spend money on things. You have this constant understanding of like, do I want to just show up? And when I show up, what do I do? Who do I target? How do I target? Who do I reach out to? How do I reach out to them? What should I attend? What conference? Because let's be real, they'll fill your whole calendar up the whole day if you go to every single one. But what's of benefit to you? And on top of that, what after the conference opportunities do I want to attend? Because there's always a meet and greet. There's always a networking
Happy
after the fest,
hour,
happy
a
hour.
gala. Yeah.
Oh, there's always or dinner.
Yeah.
There's something, there's always make sure it's in plan that's going to benefit your business. You have to map that out. That is a strategy. That is like, this is who's going to be at the conference. Oh, look, they're going to have dinner here. Guess what? I want to be the fly that's always around. I'm annoying. I want to be around. You're always going to see my face. Eventually, we're going to talk about
There's Natasha.
money. We're gonna talk about money at some point. You're gonna talk to me. So it's in that sales. That's just the way it is. On top of that, when you kind of set that plan in motion and you've targeted what you want to do, you also want to decide how you want to build with your customers. So if you're selling, let's say, a product that you have created, some sort of innovation, and you want to showcase it, you will choose a conference and you probably want to set up a booth and you want to, showcase your product so everybody can test it out or something of that magnitude. That is worth getting a booth. Now, if you provide a service, then maybe not a booth. Maybe you don't need a booth. Booths can be limiting because you stay in this little box. You have to constantly man that booth. You can't leave.
That was my job at the conference, was manning the booth. Yes.
You have to man the booth. So you're not out there networking, reaching out to your clients. You're hoping your client comes to you. And I don't know. I
Hey,
like to
come find
control.
me at 307. You're posting
Yeah,
on LinkedIn. You're like tagging
no,
everybody. Don't forget about me. I'm in the corner
yeah, I
over
don't
here.
like that. That gives you no control. It gives you no power. It's in hopes that they'll find you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I would much rather set up. Sometimes you can set up meeting rooms.
Yes.
That's preferable. So if you want some
Even
level
if
of privacy, that works.
even if it's not an overnight conference, having a room in the
Mhm.
venue that the conference is being held provides you a great private place to have these conversations. Now,
And
I
it's usually
did see, like, at Soft Week. Soft
Mhm.
Week had, now that's a huge, Tampa Convention Center is
Yes, it is.
ginormous,
Yes.
but they had an entire floor of private booths dedicated
Mhm.
for personal meeting space.
Yep.
Some of them had phones in them. So, some conferences are accommodating, but if you don't do any research on the conference that you're planning on going to, you may not be well planned. So that's why we're just kind of making sure you guys are aware of all the different things to look for so that you can get the most out of that for sure. If they
Oh, yeah.
don't offer those private booths, spring for the room. It's only 200 more bucks. You've already spent 2,000. Like,
Yeah.
what's it
If
matter
it's
at this
like a
point,
room,
right?
think of
Be
it as
effective.
an investment. It's an
Yeah, it's
investment.
an investment in yourself and your business. Be effective.
Mhm.
Um,
Now think
just
about
don't
that, like,
half-ass it. That's all.
if you I love that one. Don't. So think about it this way. Like, all right,
Only
if I
teenagers.
get a booth, what is the next thing I'm thinking about? Like with all the concepts of all the booth, like all the
Oh,
things you have to think about now.
this one makes me laugh, right? I'll
Yeah.
see, and it happened at 8A. I did my walking around.
Mm-hmm.
I did speak with some federal agencies, and I know how expensive those booths are. So when I passed by a booth that had nothing but like a branded tablecloth and some pens,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, guys, if you're gonna go for the booth, bring, your prototypes, bring
Mhm.
some sort of visual, a background, a stand,
Banner.
a banner, something that will draw attention to that booth, that will display the features and benefits,
Mhm.
differentiators, things like that. Even your certification logos, for goodness sakes. I mean, it it's variable. Just use the eggs that are in your basket. But if you're going to spring for the booth, make sure that you're doing what you need to do to attract that attention, look professional, have a takeaway, right? I got to give Teresa Moon a shout out here. She had at government procurement conference in DC a couple months ago. What is the one thing all of us women-owned business owners need at conferences? A little first aid kit for the blisters on
Mhm.
our feet. It was genius.
It
I
was so
mean, that's something that I remember when I walk
Mhm.
away. I remember her. I remember that. I remember the concept. I can relate to it. So think about your audience and something that they'll be able to relate to so that you stay fresh in their memory.
And her shoes. I remember her shoes. They were so cute.
Best shoes. Best
So
shoes.
they were worth the pain. But along with that, so you want to think of yourself as having a little budget, right? Because you're gonna spend this much money on a booth anyways, right? So like let's consider swag. You want to get things, and these are all tax deductible, folks. Get your logo on it. I had this one company, it was ah, they were like stress balls. They gave stress balls away.
Yeah.
And they were like, relax, just code or something like that because they were a software development company. But pens, obviously, you got yourself your
Here's one
little
item I got from a conference.
pen.
In fact,
That's my swag.
this is a cell phone holder.
There
Tell
you
me how
go.
cool that is. It
That
holds
is
my
so
cell phone. I
cool.
use it every day on my desk.
It's perfect. Some people you can do the business cards. You can have, and you can also play little games. Get things that attract people. One person had like this little spin little attraction where it's like if you spin it on the board is what you get from them, a free service, a free market analysis, a
That's
free statement.
cool. That
And
is super unique.
that brings people in. Now you got their information. Now you're working with them. Now they see what you're doing and what you can offer, something of low value with your best value work. And then
That
boom,
is genius.
they're going to probably extend service to something else, some other capability, right? But it gets you through the door, but it makes the customer feel like, they just want something. How exciting. So it's little things like that. Or you see a lot of times the fishbowl where you drop in your business card and you'll win something at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you buy like a $20, $40 something and give it away. You got all these business cards, which are potential clients, like that you can hit up at the end of your, day. So there's a
Schedule a
lot
follow-up.
of,
Yep.
yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can utilize that booth to get sales.
Yeah, that's
So,
a great idea. Really good ideas.
mhm.
Another conference that comes to mind for our veteran community would be the Veteran Entrepreneur Training Symposium, otherwise known as VETS. That happens in Orlando every year in, is it July?
Yeah,
No, it
everybody
was the
goes.
summer.
A lot of people go to vets.
A lot of good events, a lot.
A lot of vets.
So federal agencies, prime contractors. But this is, as far as the small business community, this is for veterans, service disabled veteran owned companies
Mhm.
exclusively. So if you're not a veteran, again, don't waste your time. Pick one of the other ones.
Yes.
Let's see what else I
Well,
have on
then
my
they have
list.
the woman-owned small business. They have also, what is it, Challenger? So
Yeah, the
if you're
Challenger events, they travel around, right? So they're in a
they
different
can get it
location.
easier,
Do you know the frequency by which those ones are
like every quarter from what I've noticed.
every
And then
quarter?
they partner with women in public policy or something like that. So they also partner together and do a lot of conferences. And then Women in Public Policy does like monthly like meetings and conference. And not everything is, physical. Some of it's virtual, but
Hmm.
that still is like it's a bunch of people that show up even more so. And then you're able to kind of connect and have comments and, a lot of conversations go on in there too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's also a really good one too.
And for those of you the Hub Zone National Conference, that
Mhm.
actually just passed end of July. They do have other events though throughout the year. So if you are Hub Zone, check the Hub Zone National Council website. They will publish any events that they're having on their website. I found that one for small businesses, $400 to $700 ish. It's
Mhm.
for I think 2 to 3 days. Don't quote me on
Not
that.
too bad.
I'll probably be
Yeah,
heading to that one next year. So
okay.
if you're
There was another one. Oh, I think it was Global Force. So Global Force is actually it's not too common. I really like it though. It is also an army one, but this is where people from all around come, and it's mostly like since AI is like this huge thing now and everyone's on it, they
AI is
have
gonna have their own conference soon.
they well they do. So don't even get me
They do
started. But yes,
already.
they already have it. ITSEC this year is going to be huge on the AI. Everything's like VR, XR, like everything. But AUSA has this new global symposium, and that's like a lot of international transformational change. That's what you're kind of noticing. A lot of research and development, a lot of quicker acquisition support. A lot of innovation. It's like you see it in a lot of the things that are coming out lately. So that one, the AUSA Global Force Symposium, that's a really good one, and that one's in Huntsville, Alabama, in March. That one's a
Okay.
really, really nice one, and that has a lot of AI and stuff.
And
It's really
see, these things can fall back to back to back to back to back, guys. You can't possibly attend them all.
Yep.
So I typically start now planning, which ones I'm going to hit next year within the budget, right? If I have a $5,000 budget, I might only get one or two in. If I'm able to go bigger, and then also how many people are you sending, right?
Yeah.
So for me, um, usually it's myself and one other person, not really any more than two ever. You might just choose to go yourself, but I will say at an event as big as the National 8A, you may
Mhm.
not even get through the entire floor in 2 days and have conversations. So I have actually a scenario for this. One of my clients attended in 2024. And she said, Ashley, you think I can tackle it myself? And I was like, well, you might be able to, but it takes someone if you can. Like, just have someone. Maybe you guys can start at one end, meet in the middle, essentially.
Yeah.
So she got pretty overwhelmed. It was getting toward the last minute. And she's like, can you create me like a plan of attack? So this is what I did. And after the fact, she told me it was so helpful that I started pretty much doing it for all my coaching clients. And I'll share it with you guys too. So I print out the floor plan. It tells you the booth numbers on the floor plan and what vendors are going to be in what booths.
Yep.
So the first thing you do is go through your targeted agencies and highlight them. You're going to start at one end and you're literally going to work your way around the conference floor. And then your second priority is any potential teaming partners. And then obviously your third priority being any potential tools that you might find valuable to your need. So that's just a loose definition. Now I went, of course, all out. I'm a perfectionist. So I had this whole map and the floor plan and instructions and notes written and everything. She was like, Ashley, I printed that out. I handed it to my partner and we got through literally everything. So she said, if I wouldn't have had that, I'd have never made it.
That is the best strategy. And that works for like most conferences. They usually have a map. And what's really cool about it, in the map, obviously it tells you who's booked what booth. So that's also kind of the same when you're planning your booth. Also, be strategic about where you're setting yourself up. Like,
right.
I don't want to be by the bathrooms. I don't want to be all the way in the back where no one's going to come see me. So I try to be in a high traffic area and also next to people that I'm going to converse with and do business with, and that have also high traffic areas that I know that people like. If it's an agency, I know a lot of people are going to go there. So I'm going to try to put myself next to an agency. So those are like, again, strategy. But to your point, I mean, I used to do that for Black Friday. So I think I'm a pro.
When I did Black Friday shopping, no way. You will not.
In the morning with my Walmart post, like my Target hours, and we're gonna go here. We're gonna execute here. This is where they have the games.
But that's kind of a similar concept because most of our lady-owned businesses probably know what that's like. You got to go here for this item and be there at this time over here. Yeah. Completely reasonable.
You know how to plan and strategize. I think women are fierce in that component. So yeah, we got
it. That's right. Definitely project management involved in that right there. Any last thoughts? Like, I feel like we're missing something, but it's not coming to me. It's getting late. We're almost out of time.
I think that was a pretty good session. I think the last thing, if I could leave you with anything, is that you're going to get bombarded with a lot of conferences and meetings and invitations. I used to feel like I had to be involved in it all, especially in the beginning, because you want to know so much.
You're missing out. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're missing out, you feel like but you only have so little time, and you want to make your time count. There's many a times I'll go to a meeting or I'll go to an event and I try to tell myself, like, I have a lessons learned afterwards. And I say, what did I learn? What was of value to me that's going to eventually come out better for me? Did I meet someone that is going to help my business? Did I learn something I didn't know about yesterday? What did I get? And if it provided no added value, I just try not to attend anymore unless the subject changes or something that's more targeted. But I try to be very intentional with my time. Yes. I want to learn, but not just anything. I want to learn what is important to me, my business, and what's of added value. So if I could leave you with anything, it's really about finding the added value before you show up and spend money.
Absolutely. And if it has a matchmaking session, now I'm getting all kinds of different things coming to my mind naturally. If it has a matchmaking session, please don't approach the prime and ask what they're going to do for you. Really great first impression. What are you going to do for me lately? You need to bring value to the table as the small, because 9 times out of 10 they can get the job done without you. You need to give them a reason to work with you. That's another topic for another day, though. We'll cover that one later.
No handouts.
All right, ladies and gents. Next week, let's see what we have on the schedule for next week. I have planned out for the most part for the rest of the year what our topics are.
Yay.
with a little bit of variance, guests dependent. So if anyone in our audience is interested in coming on the show and being a guest, we would love to have you.
Yeah.
Go on to our website on the podcast page. I'm going to show you what that link is. And at the very bottom of the page, there is a form that you can just fill out, send us your information. We have topics 2024 and 2025 we're working on right now.
If you have a niche that you know a lot about, come on down. We're doing industry once a month. Come on.
We love niches, guys. So if you are a subject matter expert in anything that you want to share, please bring it to us. We would love to have you. For now, that is all we've got. So I hope you all have a great weekend.
It was amazing speaking with you.
Bye. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.